Greeting to all the students. Welcome to Global Online, and here we are back with our next video for the topic that is paper 2 management. And as you all know that we have already completed 2 units. Third unit also we have completed 7 lectures, and this is the 8th lecture with respect to the unit 3 of paper 2. So these are the 2022 batch lectures, and today the topic which we are going to start is International Human Resource Management. So before we go ahead with the topic, let's quickly have a look that Global Online has came up with an app. The app icon is given to you clearly. You can just download the app, go to UGC Net Paper 2. You can get all the complete video lectures, notes, test series in the form of MCQs, PDF, which will be 5 years based question papers with the answer key, as well as target based preparation for your paper 2. But the one facility with this is that, or you can say the one opportunity for you is with paper 1 you will definitely get with paper 2 you will definitely get paper 1 free of cost, and you can ensure that this paper 1 as well as paper 2 will help you to crack your upcoming examination as per the notification, which is in the as per the tentative notification, which is in the month of 2022 June. So now let's start the session for the day. So we are going to talk about international HRM. So what exactly is international HRM? International HRM is nothing but international human resource management, which is concerned with human resource problems of multinational firms and foreign subsidiaries, with unfolding the HR issues that are associated with various stage of internationalization process. So what this is exactly and how it is, and exactly what are the things that we are going to understand in detail in the coming slides. So international HRM, it has, one of the part of complexity, that is the operation is at multinational enterprises or units, you can say, which is across the diverse national context. The employment of workers with different national characteristics is seen over here. Now, what is the objective? What exactly this is meant for? This is basically to reduce the international human resource risks, to avoid the cultural, various various cultures which can be at times risky. And in order to avoid that, we have this is one of the main objective, to avoid regional disparities, that is differences, and make or bring integration, and to manage all the diverse human capital. So obviously people who are working in multinational corporation, they are from the different nationality, different culture, different background. So in order to make them work together, it's very important that we have to ensure that there is, how to manage this diversity. So when we see what are the features of international HRM, it talks about employing a right person at a right job at a right time, right place, irrespective of the geographical locations. If they have, they have the capability, potentiality, they can definitely go ahead. And for that, we have something to manage is in the form of international human resource management. It requires the development of long-term HR plans to make sure, the effective alignment of HR strategies with the corporate strategy. So it is not only taking care of, only the people, but it is ensuring that the corporate strategies as well as, the HR strategies works out well in order to manage the differences. That's how we can, we are looking at the HRM, that is effect, you can say the international HRM, we can look at from this point. But not only this, we also, it has also requires the development of diversified skills for employees, especially those who, need to work beyond the national boundaries. So these diversity, sometimes may definitely not be able to, allow the employees to explore the opportunity. So here also managing the diversification is one of the point. It necessitates the determination of the compensation for parent country, the host country, as well as the third country with specific factors. And it creates a centralized reporting relationship around the world for, for the faster information, for the faster information system. So let's see now what are the issues, or which issues can be tackled. So the variety of international models that exist, which talks about HR policies, which talks about practices, which talks about, from a different point of view, that is the issues of convergence or the divergence, the departure, the unionization, managing people in the different culture, in the different of the different countries, of the different cultures, as well as the environments. The approaches is to select, to deploy, to reward, the expatriate, who could be the nationals of the either the parent country, or you can say the host, the third country. Repatriation and its process, which we are going to see one by one, and the varieties of government policies as well as politics of the host and the third country. So let's see the differences which are there between the domestic HRM and the international HRM. So the differences is basically on the taxation, the culture orientation, the administrative practices, multiple catering to multiple needs, personal lives, adjustment of the families, the spouses and the children, changes in the workforce, of with the help of expatriates, or the local varies, which definitely needs to be managed well. Then risk exposure, that is the expatriate failure, or the terrorism part. So this all things should be taken into consideration when we are moving, when we are moving at an international level. Broader external influences, that is government regulations with respect to the employment policies, with respect to the work permits, with respect to the etiquettes, with respect to the conduct. All this plays an important role when we go beyond a national boundary. Now, not only this, there are a lot of complexities, from legal point of view also, which has to be taken care of. Environmental, the different cultural environment, industry or industries with respect to MNCs, which is MNCs is involved, the attitude of senior management, the attitude of people at various departments at various level, extent of reliance of MNCs on the whole country domestic market. So these are all the factors which needs to be taken into consideration. Now, what are the what we can say are the variable domestic and international activities of HRM. So like, for example, culture, as I said, industries, we discussed, or extent of the markets, the attitude, the same thing which we have studied is presented in the diagrammatic form of presentation, just to ensure that you remember these points very well. Now, yes. Now, this differences, as I said, it is, they have given some extra examples. So when we talk about activities, it is not only about the financial part, but, the appraisals, the training, the repatriation, the relocation, the remuneration, this also plays an important role. When we talk about the complexity, it talks about the currency fluctuation, the policies, the labor acts, different labor laws, you can say, or practices. Involvement, it talks about family, health, education, recreation, personal life oriented. Complex employee mix, which talks about cultural, political, religious, or ethical background, and risks in the form of emergencies, or some personal security, some health issues. So all this needs to be taken into consideration when we are talking about international HRM. Now, yes, we have studied this word expatriate. So when you're studying international HRM, you should know what is expatriate. So who is an expatriate? So expatriate is an employee who is working and temporarily residing in a foreign country. So whichever country you can take, and some firms have definitely some organizations or some firm use the term international assignees to them, and this is how they have been they have been appointed to work with a specific reason, you can say, or you can say with a specific purpose, and hence they are given this particular name. Now, when we talk about expatriates, they can be from parent country, they can be from transnational corporation, or the headquarters. So the global flow of HR, that is, it is more complexity in the activities and involvement, with reference to what? With reference to the with reference to the involvement of the particular employee with respect to any country from, or with respect to either the headquarters, but these people will be called as what? These people will be called as expatriates. Now, we have the understanding of cultural differences. So what are the basis, or of due to what the international HRM has to take care for what particular factors or what particular aspects, that also we need to understand. So the first point is the cultural differences. So the cultural differences, it talks about the language, that is the body language, that is verbal as well as non-verbal aspect, labor laws, political climate, you can say technological advancement, different types of values and attitudes, that is in the form of time, achievement, risk factor, role of religion. Like for example, the way the religion, or the understanding, the cultural understanding with the help of traditions, that also can be of great differences and needs to be understand. Educational level, the social institutions or the social organization, the status system will also are different, and this has to be very well understood by the employee who is going from one country to another country, especially for the purpose of work. Then we have the next aspect is so one example they have given in this, I have in fact I have taken one example of the cultural theory, which is very famous, Hofstede's theory, which is of 5 dimensions. So let's understand this theory. So you can get an options over here, which are the 5 dimensions of cultural Hofstede's theory. So one is the power, that is equality of power in an industry, in an institution, in a country. Now, a country with a large power, or have the hierarchies, the subordinates have an influence, little influence in the work. The boss has the total and the sole authority. So we can say the power indicates what the authority, and here the boss has the ultimate authority. Then we have the uncertainty avoidance index, that is UAI. We have given an acronym here for year. So the degree of anxiety that a society members feel when it is uncertain on unknown situation or a place, you can say. So try avoiding ambiguous situations whenever possible. They are governed by the rules and orders. So many of the countries do have certain specific rules, specific regulations, and every individual needs to follow them. So the low uncertainty avoidance indicates that a society enjoys the novel events and value differences, and there are very few rules, and people are encouraged to discover their own truth. So there are countries which are having high UAI, that is uncertainty avoidance, where you cannot do anything. You have to basically follow what rules and regulations are meant. And one which has low UAI, which talks about the differences, which indicates they that are not taken that seriously, and the person can reflect, the person can discover his own path or truth. Then we have individualism versus collectivism. So it refers to the strength of the people, or it refers to the strength of an individual. So when we say high individualism score, it indicates, the loose connections. In the country with a high individualism scores, there is a lack of interpersonal connection, little sharing of responsibility beyond family, and perhaps, a close friend. So there is, individualism is more. So the societal aspects, or, it's not taken into consideration. But when we say the society is with low individualism, it means it has a group cohesion. There is a large amount of loyalty, respect, there is a larger amount of responsibility taken. So that this refers to collectivism. It means unity and what individual aspect. So that's what this aspect talks about. Then we have masculine and feminine culture, wherein traditional roles, female and male roles are played. So when we talk about high masculinity, it means, tough, the toughness in the job, or be assertiveness. When we talk about low masculinity, it means, the quality, the gender, or the masculine, the roles are simply blurred. So yes, men and women who are working together equally, they are very equal professions, or there are very a lot of professions which expects equality. But so when we talk about masculinity, even if the male is in the profession, or a female, they have to be very tough. And when we talk about feminism, so males in such professions, or men in such professions, are to be sensitive. They have to be, they have to be have the I mean to say, they have to have the attributes which are which depicts a feminine role. So that is so roles which are defined by the not genders, which are defined by the qualities of the gender. So that is one of the aspect. Next one, we have a short and long term orientation. So when we talk about a long-term orientation, it emphasizes on building the future perspective of a particular, country. And when we have short-term, so it defines the values and the of the past as well as of the present. Then we have approaches to staffing. So there are various approaches of international HRM. So that is ethnocentric, polycentric, geocentric, and regiocentric. So let's understand one by one. Ethnocentric policy, that is the home country's culture is to be imposed on the subsidiaries. MNCs exports its HR policy from home country to the foreign location, and that's how the things are to be taken. The decisions are made by at the headquarters. The key positions in the domestic and foreign operations are always held by the headquarters. So ethnocentric means they are give more importance to the home country culture. When we like for example, when we talk about various factors, so like one should be able to adjust in the family culture and personality problems to avoid the failure, should enjoy the local entertainment or relationship and communication. To achieve success, expatriates have to have open attitude and should take training towards such host country. So under ethnocentric the lines of communication are one directional, that is from the headquarters. In fact, home country attitude and culture dominates in ethnocentric. So ethnocentric is the one where the culture and all the aspects of the home country dominates. Then we have a polycentric. MNC seeks to adopt the local culture. So wherever the organization is, operating, so the operations are taken here, with the help of what, with the local culture. So the advantage is it's less expensive. They can locally, mergers can take place easily. No language barrier, no cultural and hassles of cultural adjustment. No problem of expatriate management. As we said, the local culture is adopted over here, and it can be easily adopted and managed. Then we have geocentric. So geocentric approach is basically the best available managers for a business without regard for their country or origin. So in this example, the UK parent country uses the natives of many countries at company headquarters and as the US subsidiary. So the parent country, it means it is the managers are available for the business without any origin. So they have the person who works best can be considered for this particular aspect. Then so geocentric has a global approach. It makes a unique contribution. Nationality is ignored. Merit plays an important role when it comes to reward, promotion, and development. Then we have regiocentric. So that is companies' international business is divided into international geographic regions. So the regiocentric approach uses the managers from various countries with a geographic regions of business. So although the managers operate relatively independently in this particular region, they are not normally moved to the company headquarters. So they are basically from a specific region, and those who can find working in that region comfortably. So we had repatriation and its process. So repatriation is nothing but the activity of bringing an expatriate back to his home country. It means returning back. So challenges here is returning from a high status when you are going to a particular site. So returning from there and to a highly profile role. So it can have, to adjust is very difficult, diminishing career opportunities, no longer, special from the fellow workers. So there, now you have been abroad for certain times and now you're back to the home country. So here also adjustment takes a long time. Feeling and being let down, or, like it feels someone feels like it is demotivating or demotivation, experiencing reverse cultural shock. So now now you were habitual to that particular span of lifestyle, and now immediately this, so it again makes it again it's very difficult to adjust. Okay, so the process is that if you are planning for a repatriation, there should be a preparation, there should be awareness of a physical location, transition should happen smoothly, and readjustment should take place. See, it will definitely, it is not that everything can happen in a in the easiest form, but then it has to be the one needs to be prepared for this, and it can then take place slowly. Then What we have next is yes, so when we I mean to say this just to make it easier for you people: ethnocentric, polycentric, regiocentric, and geocentric. So by whom the decisions are made, that is in ethnocentric headquarters. Here the lower role is played by the headquarters. Here the decision is made, in with respect to the regional headquarters, and here it is a collaboration with the local headquarters. In ethnocentric, home standards are applied everywhere. Local standards are applied over here, regional standards and universal standard. As I said, geocentric is something global. Ethnocentric focuses on domestic, poly on local objective, Rio on regional objective, and Geo on global objectives. In ethnocentric, identification with the owner's nationality is done, whereas in polycentric, with the host country, identification here is done with the region, whereas in geocentric, it is a global view. Ethnocentric, high positions are taken by managers from the owner's country, whereas here polycentric, they are taken by the local managers. In regiocentric, it is taken by the regional managers, whereas in geocentric, irrespective of whatever country you belong to, different countries, the one who has a different experience can be taking a position. Then the challenges. So there can be high failure because of expatriation or repatriation, deployment, getting the right mix of skills. Sometimes it's a challenge. Knowledge and innovation, that is managing the critical knowledge and the speed of information flow. Sometimes it is too much, sometimes it is nothing at all. Then you have a talent identification. Sometimes your hard work, your capability is not recognized. Barriers to women's to adjust, to move, especially when they are they are having their family. Then international ethics, languages, as I said, is one of the most important barrier. Challenges in the form of labor laws, the political climate, the technological advent. You can use as challenges or issues, but still we'll go through it very well. So the attitudes and the values, roles of the religions, as I said, we have done this earlier also. Educational level, as well as various social organizations in the form of institutions, authority, or the status system. So yes, so let's understand certain key issues. So when we talk about key issues, the first is the human resource planning, which happens worldwide with respect to recruitment, selection, orientation, training, repatriation, performance appraisal. When it comes to compensation, the inflation rates, which you keep changing at various places in the various forms. Then you have providing sufficient pay. Should company pay hardship allowances or dissatisfaction with reference to cost of living, because some organizations are located in some luxurious country, and it becomes very difficult to have to adjust with the cost of living allowances. So complex housing problem is one of the major issue. Like then benefits in the form of equity among the employees or plans regarding the various categories or personal taxation laws, communication of HR policies and program worldwide. So the continuous flow of communication, or the face-to-face frequency, or making policy manuals, sensitivity. Then you can talk about explanations of the policy changes, the rotation of overseas managers, and security. Job security is again one of the key issues which we have already seen. But this is how things are very difficult, when it comes to international HRM. So yes, that's all we have for this particular topic, and we have already completed now unit 3 successfully. Now we have 2 units which we are going to start simultaneously. That is, one is marketing management we will be starting, and second we will be starting entrepreneurship. So we'll be having 2 videos at 2 different times, so that you can your preparation little bit speed up, and you can do well for your paper 2 equally along with your paper 1. So thank you everyone